All right, happy Saturday, everybody. So we've got some NBA, we got some college basketball, we got some NCAA football. So it is a huge sports day. I'm excited for it. I'm going to give you guys some NBA plays, going to give you some college basketball and some college football plays. So 12 plays in total. But before we get into that, guys, make sure you subscribe to the channel. It's absolutely free. Join the Discord down below. We've already had the card there for about 45 minutes or so. So always gets posted in there first. Post plays throughout the day. Also post props I like, things of that nature. So join. It's absolutely free. Be a part of the community. So let's get into this slate, get you guys on your way. So first game, Cavs and the Hornets. Don't want to touch a plus or minus 13 line. I would lean towards the over 218.5, but frankly, this game is an absolute fade for me. I just don't trust the Hornets. You never know what you're going to get with them. Richards is a game time decision. He's like 50-50 to play. LaMelo is still out. Bridges is still out. Trey Mann's still out. On the Cleveland side of the ball, Okoro is a game time decision. So really no spot for me to back Charlotte in this situation unless they just shoot lights out. I just don't see that happening. So it's a Cleveland spot. I just don't want to take the 13. And I don't trust Charlotte enough to score points to take the over-under. Oklahoma City Thunder and the Pelicans. Interesting line at 8.5. On the Pelican side, they got some players back today. So Herb Jones should be back. Ingram will be back. You got McCollum and you got DeJounte Murray. OKC side of the ball, pretty much same lineup we've been seeing. I would say it's a pretty decent spot actually at home. Pelicans plus 8.5 is kind of where I'm leaning towards this. I think it's an all right spot to take them. Hartenstein rebounds is something I looked at. I want to see it come down a little bit. It's a little aggressive right now. It's at 12.5. Should get bumped down to 11.5. I'm hoping. I really like it if it's at 11.5. Another one is Yves Missy for the Pelicans. It's currently at 8.5. I do think it gets dropped to 7.5. If that happens, I will hit either one of those. So the 7.5 for Missy, or I'll take an 11.5 for Hartenstein. All right, next game, Nuggets and the Wizards. Another 14. I hate 14s. It's too high. 231.5 to me seems a bit high. This kind of tells me, and we see this a lot with Jokic, right? When he plays subpar teams, right? We saw in the Cavs, I mean, he got up for it and he performed. When he plays shitty teams like this, he dumbs his game down. His rebound line's at like 13.5. I was really close to banging the under. I just don't think he cares a ton in this game. So I definitely do think Washington scores some points. I could see Washington plus 14 if I'm being honest. I just think defensively it's just a great letdown spot after the Nuggets had to fight hard against the Cavs. So I would lean towards Washington plus 14. Not going to touch this game, but that would be my lean. All right, Pistons and the Knicks. Man, this just feels like a Madison Square Garden blowout. Knicks minus 9.5. Going up against a Pistons team, injury-wise, I mean, I guess they're okay. Thompson's a game-time decision, so we might see him back. Brunson for the Knicks is a game-time decision. Now, that does kind of affect one of the plays we have today. I do like Josh Hart under 6.5 assists. That line's just too high. It's usually 5.5, so we're kind of getting a 1 assist discount to take his under. I like it. Karl Anthony Towns rebounds. I want to say it's at 12.5. I almost banged it. It's almost worth banging that over. I mean, they can give up some rebounds on the Pistons side of the ball. Of course, we got the Cade Cunningham over rebounds and assists. I didn't hit it. It's definitely a possibility. Kind of like his over 8.5 assist. I really like his over 5.5 rebounds. So over 5.5 rebounds, I think is a decent play. It's not on the card, but I do like it in the spot. Give me the Knicks minus 9.5. With a strong lean towards that under 226.5. Knicks have just not been playing at a good pace lately, so kind of like the under to hit here. Mavs and the Raptors. Toronto at home giving 9 to Dallas. Dallas has been on a roll. Luka came back a little sharp, actually. I thought he might be a little rusty, but he came back good. On the injury side, Najee Marshall for Dallas is out. Toronto side of the ball, Podol is a game time decision. Kelly Olynyk might be back today, which really sucks because we've been banging that Podol rebounds line. So Kelly Olynyk is just going to screw that up for us. But we'll just move on to Scotty Barnes because he's been crushing the rebounds. But his line's really high today. If Podol's out, I do like Barrett to go over his rebound line. Probably, I didn't look at it actually. It's probably a 6.5. It's usually where it's at. If we can get a little closer and find out that Podol and Olynyk is out, banging Barrett's rebound line, but it'll probably jump. All right. So let's see. We didn't pick a winner in this game. I don't want to pick it. It's too high. All of this is too high. I'd probably lean just complete fade. I don't even want to venture anything in this game. There's just too many variables here. So complete fade for me. Suns and the Heat. Miami -6 against Phoenix. Obviously, Phoenix is about Kevin Durant, who's dealing with that sprained ankle. Nurkic is still out. Miami side of the ball, Jimmy Butler's expected to play. 6 is a lot. 6 is a lot against the Suns team. The Heat, it's all dependent. I mean, you've got Duncan Robinson and Tyler Hero. How many threes are those two goons going to shoot? Probably about 30 between the two of them. So give me Phoenix +6 in this spot. I just don't trust Tyler Hero, man. I don't trust him. I like his under 10.5 rebounds plus assists today. It's not on the card, but it was probably the next one that would have made the card. And then, let's see, we do have a play on Tyus Jones. I like his over 2.5 rebounds today. It's a really light line. Almost went for Bradley Beal prop, but ended up passing on that. Okay, last game, Grizzlies and the Celtics. You know what? We didn't do a recap. I will do a recap. We do that every day. We'll talk about that. The Celtics game just made me think of it. Grizz and the Celtics. This should be an interesting game. We got a pretty high over-under 238.5. I think we probably crossed the over. That would be my preference, would be to take the over. And then I would take Memphis +6.5. Boston coming off back-to-back. Porzingis should be back today, but I wouldn't be shocked if we see somebody else sit or they don't play as many minutes tonight. So it feels like a good spot to back the Grizz here. All right, let's talk about yesterday's recap because I did forget to do that. Midday, we went 4-4. Rudy Gobert, over 10.5 rebounds. He ended up at 11. That line ended up jumping pretty high. We had some really good CLV yesterday. So it is what it is. Clint Capella over 11.5 rebounds plus assist. He just didn't play. He played 23 minutes in a game that went to overtime. So for some reason, they were just resting him. So that was just a bad spot there. Jalen Johnson over 13.5 rebounds plus assist. This was looking really good till he started getting in foul trouble. He ended up banging this line, thankfully, but he didn't play. He played like 10 seconds in the third quarter. That's it. But he still ended up going over this easily. Sabonis over 12.5 rebounds. Cash that for us. Jaylen Brown over 10.5 rebounds plus assists. Got some reverse line movement on this one. Not good. That was just a bad read. Jrue Holiday under 9.5 rebounds plus assists. I thought we were actually going to cash this. He came out super hot early, and then he ended up cashing this within the last 2 minutes of the game or so. Wendell Carter under 7.5 rebounds. We were looking okay. We had 1 minute left in the game, and that bastard got 2 rebounds. So, GG. Chris Middleton over 2.5 assists. This was a first half cash, so that one was really nice. So, 4-4, not what we want, but it is what it is. Let's get into our best bets today for y'all and get you out of here. First one's going to be Devin Booker under 5.5 assists. This line's just a little too high in my opinion for Devin Booker, especially when you got Tyus Jones in the lineup. He's under this in 3 of his last 10. Actually, I'm sorry. He's under this in 7 of his last 10. He's under this in 8 of his last 12. 4 of the last 12 shooting guards have gone under 6 assists versus Miami. So we're in a good spot here. Evan Mobley over 9.5 rebounds. He's over this in 7 of 10 games. Charlotte gives up a ton of rebounds. And Jarrett Allen is highly favored to go under his prop. One of them will go over. Allen's line's at 11.5, which is a little high. I trust Mobley to get the 9.5. All right, Cat, we're going to go with Karl Anthony Towns under 3.5 assists. He's under this in the last 3 games. So more of a system play to me when I look across the books. There is a heavily favored to go under. DK just seems to be lacking with the rest of the market. I mean, this is like minus 170 on Pinnacle, minus 190 on Underdog. I mean, it's massive variances. So we're getting value at minus 135 here. Porzingis over 6.5 rebounds. He's over this line in 70% of his last 20 games when he plays at least 30 minutes. In his 2 games back, he has played 29.4 and 32 minutes. So I do think he ends up playing at least 30 minutes. If you look over his last 10 with 30 plus minutes, he's got an 80% hit rate. So too good a value here. Josh Hart under 6.5 assists. We talked about this. He's only hit this in 2 of his last 10. He's only hit this in 10 of his last 30. So we've got good odds here that he should hit that. And the teams that he generally hits it against are teams that play at a really fast pace. The Knicks have really slowed down their pace lately, and they're playing a team that is below average in terms of pace as well. So I think he hits this line. And then Tyrus Jones over 2.5 rebounds. He's over this in 3 of the last 4 games without Kevin Durant. It's 3 rebounds on a guy that's going to play 33 minutes plus. So too good a value there to pass up a 2.5 line. It's kind of like the Damian Lillard line. If you can get that man at 3.5 rebounds, you bang it every time. I didn't put it on the card yesterday, but I had it on a few of slips for me, and that cashed pretty easily. Now, a couple plays that didn't make the card. Cade Cunningham over 5.5 rebounds. I like that one. DeJounte Murray over 5.5 assists, and Tyler Hero under 10.5 rebounds plus assist. All right, let's get into college basketball. So give me Rhode Island +2 versus Providence. I think Rhode Island should be -1. So we're getting a 3 in our favor. Southern Utah +27.5 versus Arizona. I think this should be closer to a 23 point spread. So we're getting about 4.5 points here. And then give me Notre Dame -4.5 versus Syracuse. I think Notre Dame should be -7. So getting good value there. College football, interesting day. Three plays I like. Miami -2.5 versus Ohio. So this is Miami of Ohio versus the Ohio Bobcats. So that's about a 2.5 hour drive. Pretty close to each other. Give me Miami in this one. SMU -2.5 versus Clemson. Clemson coming down the stretch has just not been impressive. SMU is just gaining momentum. So I love them in this spot. Give me Oregon -3.5 versus Penn State. I hate the 3.5, but Penn State just offensively, they just don't impress me. Allard is a little spotty with his accuracy. Obviously, he can run, but Oregon just too strong, man. Too strong in this spot. I think they win by a touchdown. So those are my 12 best plays for today. Appreciate you guys tuning in. As always, like I said, subscribe to the channel, join the Discord. Link is down below, completely free, and I'll catch you in the next video.